Bite-Sized and Bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing. Women paving paths, look at them going. Bite-Sized and Bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing.
Welcome to our podcast. We're excited for our guest today. I'm Erin,
Tammy,
Chrissy,
and this
and
is
this is
Bite-Sized and
Byte-Sized
Bossy.
Bossy.
Well, we're excited for our guest today.
So who is it, Erin? Who's the guest?
Well, someone who's really, really special to all of us, and she's one of our first few guests on Byte-Sized and Bossy, and I'm going to let Tammy introduce her.
So we are bringing on Cherryh Cansler from Networld Media, and many of you know her from the event space. But the first question we have for Ms. Cherryh is, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let the audience know who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, I'm the editor of fastcasual.com and the VP of events for Networld Media Group. So we put on Fast Casual Executive Summit and the Restaurant Franchising Innovation Summit and the Top 100. So there's lots of things that we put on. That's kind of my passion. In that background, I live in Kansas City. I'm a huge Chiefs fan, obviously, huge Swiftie. I've got 2 boys. I love yoga. I love champagne. So those are probably my top favorite things right there.
And I've spent some time with Cherryh at the National Restaurant Show, and I can vouch that she does love her champagne.
I was going to say, at least I know one thing I like that Cherryh likes, champagne.
Yeah, exactly.
Erin doesn't really do sports.
Sports.
Kansas City, she probably doesn't even know if that's like football or baseball.
I call them sports ball games.
It's both.
Sports ball games.
Well, Cherryh, we're excited to have you here. And Cherryh and I have known each other for years, as well as Tammy and Cherryh have known each other. And so we're excited because you are a strong female in our space. And I like to say I knew you when we were both much younger, even though we're not that old. And
Exactly.
what got you interested in what you're doing now? What's exciting for you about it?
Well, I have a journalism degree, so I started out as like an old school reporter and ended up coming to Networld Media Group probably like 14 years ago as just like a junior tech writer and have worked my way up. And food just stuck with me. It's so much fun to write about. I've been writing about, the restaurant industry for the last 10 years and just really love connecting people. That's my favorite thing. I think that's why I love the event so much, because it's great to, work on the agenda and connect the speakers with the vendors. And it's just a big, as you guys know, it's a huge family reunion at every event we have. This industry, especially the fast casual industry, I'd say is a really big family. Everybody wants to help everybody. They're all competing, but they're still there to like help each other and give advice. And I think it's a smart industry, knowing that if one concept is winning, then the other concepts are going to win as well. So it's not so cutthroat, I think, as some of the other industries.
Cherryh,
Quick question.
I had the good fortune of going to your fast casual awards dinner this past year. And I would love for you to share with the audience about that event, because there were some really neat things that were totally different, like best dressed.
Yes. Well, another thing that I love, obviously, is fashion. And we've always done the Fast Casual Top 100 Gala, where we kind of rank the up and coming brands, or not even, they don't have to be new, just people leading in that space. And we thought, people already call it the Oscars of the restaurant industry event. So let's get in there and do a best dressed. So we kind of put that out in the beginning this last year, and everybody loved it. And we had some crazy outfits, but everybody looked beautiful. And then we had the audience vote for one female and one male. And of course, that was Stacey Kane and Zach Oates, who I know you all know and love. So we're going to do that again in May, and we'll have the best dressed, of course. And I already told Stacey she cannot win again, but she's insisting on it being called the Stacey Kane Best Dressed Award. So we're still negotiating that.
That's awesome. Really quick, I would love to pick your brain. You've been writing about restaurants for a long time. Is there any particular write-up that you did that has really stuck with you that you recall?
Well, my favorite story to do, I've done it the last 5 years on International Women's Day on March 8th, which also happens to be my birthday. But
Aw.
I'm very passionate about trying to get more women to speak up in the industry, and this is a big feature where I interview anywhere from 18 to 27 female leaders in the restaurant space, just asking for their advice. They have their headshot, links to all of their websites and everything, and it's just been a really fun feature. It gets really a lot of clicks, a lot of reads, and I think people appreciate that because they're like, oh, I didn't know so and so was the leader of this brand. Or it could be a chief marketing officer or a franchise owner, or just, highlighting what women are doing in our restaurant industry. Because I think that's important for us to be reminded of. And hopefully one day I won't have to do this special story every March 8th, because it'll just be like so boring and normal for women to be in the leadership role. But we're getting better. But as you ladies know, we're not quite there.
Exactly.
But we're
And
definitely getting better for sure.
and I think you
Yeah.
just hit it on the head, because I remember years and years and years ago going to my first restaurant leadership conference where I didn't realize walking in that I was going to be one of very, very few women. And this was years ago. And I remember thinking, where are the women at? And it was shocking to me, the difference, because I've worked cross industry. How do you see that change has happened? And how do you feel that we can still do better going forward?
Yeah, I definitely think it's better. I've been doing these agendas and picking speakers for the past 7 years. And when I took over, I really was like, we need to have more than 10 women on the agenda. So I have kind of this goal for myself where I'm trying to get at least one woman on every single panel. That is the ultimate goal. Do I make that goal every time? No. But I am trying. And I feel like each event, it gets easier and easier. And I think as more women are on the stage, the other women who might be thinking that maybe they can do it, but they're not quite ready, when they see those other females on the panel, I'm hoping that gives them like the bravery. It's not even about the bravery. It's the confidence that, hey, I have something to contribute to. I've worked in this industry 10 years, so I can say this or I can say that. I think sometimes women don't think that they have enough experience or enough, um, just enough stories to tell, but I really think they do.
And when you
Well,
found
Hi,
those women
Puppy.
too, do you,
What?
sorry, when you ask these women or they come and ask you to speak, do you find that they do have the same stories as the men or more?
They have wonderful stories. And I will tell you, I don't get a lot of women who do come to me and ask me to speak. I get many men who come to me and ask me to speak. It's mostly me going, okay, I've got like 15 men now, and I really need to find 5 women. And you kind of feel weird being like, I need a female, I need a female. But if you don't purposely do that, then you're not going to have any diversity. And I do that with other things than just women, people of color. Like, it's easy to find the middle-aged white dudes to speak. So we have to go out of our way. And I think as event planners, that's what they are. And I love middle-aged white men. I'm married to one. They're amazing. I love them.
I'd like to have a middle-aged white man for myself.
Yeah,
They're all
they're,
right.
they're
That's so
fabulous. But, I don't want to only hear from them. So
Well, Cherryh,
Right.
we
that's
have
an
to work a little
excellent point.
harder.
So you've got an audience here, right? We don't know what order this will air, but you'll be one of our
Okay.
first guests. And how would a woman get to you to raise her hand? What's the best way to do that?
All she
LinkedIn,
would
like
need, all she would need to do is email me or LinkedIn with me. My email is cherryh@networldmediagroup.com, and just say I'm interested in speaking. We are preparing right now for the restaurant franchising innovation summit in March, which is going to be in Myrtle Beach. So I am booking speakers for that right now.
ooh,
The agenda, the agenda is online. You can see all the sessions that are there. We have stuff from tech to menu trends to marketing to catering. So they would just need to say, hey, I'm interested in speaking. And then we can kind of go back and forth and find out, where their expertise is, what session they'd like. It's very easy. We're a small company. We have 27 employees, family owned. There's no red tape. You talk to me. If we decide that we want to do it, we move forward. So, I mean, we women, my boss is a CEO. She's a woman. I say we get shit done. We don't wait around. So if you send me an email today, I'm probably going to respond, and we'll have you on the agenda by tomorrow. So,
All right, ladies,
you hear
you
that?
heard it. You heard it here first. Bite-Sized and Bossy with Cherryh. If you want to speak, share your knowledge, contact her, and she'll get right back to you.
exactly.
March, Myrtle Beach. Everybody wants
Yeah.
to go to Myrtle Beach. Right?
Spring break. We'll have our own version of spring break.
Right.
Cherryh, that's really why we're doing this podcast is we are trying to
We
give
have a spring break.
a
No,
voice in the industry. Yes. And also Tammy likes to party and wants to go to more break.
You
Because I
might
know
need your parka in Myrtle Beach in March. Just saying, it can get cold.
I was
we
a
can still
summer.
party in a parka. That's
That's
the
right.
new
Party in
slogan.
a parka.
New slogan.
There's a joke. There's a joke to be made about that, I believe.
Exactly.
For sure. Okay,
All
so
right.
some fun stuff. So if you were looking at yourself in college, getting that journalism degree, what would be the advice that you would give to your younger self for the younger ladies that are listening out here and don't really know what their career path will be or what their future holds?
I think I would say to ask more questions and don't be shy about not knowing something. I remember, especially in college, trying to feel like I always had my shit together and look like I had it together. And I feel like if I would have just said, "I don't understand what's going on. Can you help me? Can I have help?" I think that would have been a lot better instead of just trying to figure it out. I mean, I love people who like to figure it out on their own. That's great. But there are some times when you can just ask somebody a question. But I was too insecure where I thought I would, oh, there's that dumb blonde girl again. I was very like, oh, I got to come off really put together and really smart, or no one's going to take me seriously. So I think I would have asked for more help.
So don't be
But I
afraid to
think
ask
there's
for help,
something,
right? Like that's
yeah.
huge. And I
think
think
there's,
women were taught not to. Like we're taught
Right.
yes.
to figure it out or that we look silly to do that. But having the vulnerability to say, hey, I could use some help here is huge. And so absolutely.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I think a lot of times we are afraid to ask for help because how are we going to be viewed? You know, and I think that that's at like any point in our careers, right? Whether you are just coming into an industry, whether you've got 5 years under your belt, or even like me or Tammy or Erin, we've all been in our careers for a very long time. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't really understand this, but if I is it going to make me look less because I've
Right.
been doing this for so long and I don't really understand it? But I think we're all a little apprehensive of asking for help because the way someone might view us or how somebody might think of us. So
Yeah.
we need to, I think, continue to say it's okay to ask for help.
Well, and
Yeah.
you must have at some point, Cherryh, you must have asked for help, right? Like there had to have been a point in your career where you were like, okay, I'm good. I'm just going to ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a really, I think, a special relationship with our CEO, Kathy Doyle. I call it, she's a badass. She is amazing. She was one of the first female publishers like 30 years ago, and there were hardly any women doing that. So I've learned a lot from her. And as I've grown in my career ladder, I've asked her advice, at her mentorship. Um, my title now is vice president, but it wasn't always that. 5 years ago, it was still director. And I remember going to her one day and saying, "Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to be VP." And she goes, "Oh, geez, I knew this conversation was going to happen." And I was like, "Well, I'm doing all the work that a VP would get. I want the title, and I think that I have I'm ready." And she's like, "You're doing an amazing job, but you're not ready." And I was like,
Ooh.
"What?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So she goes, "You
Did
are
you
great
cry?
at." Yeah, no, I did not cry, but I got pissed at first until she, gave the rest of it. She's like, "You're really good at A, B, and C, but there are two things that you need help with and that you need to work on. And one is being too friendly with the people who report to you. Not everybody can be your best friend. And
Boundaries.
yeah, and number
Interesting.
two is, yeah, right? Like, and I am a person who wants everybody to like me. I love having friends. I love taking people out. So
That's why we get
obviously,
along.
right. So that was a big, like, oh, okay. But she was right. And then the other one was, you're not ready yet. I mean, you have a journalism degree. What do you know about P&L? We need to work on that. And so
Mm.
she sat me down and we worked on that. And then I asked her a couple of months later, "How's it going? What do you think of my progress?" And she's like, "You're getting better. You're still not ready." And then 3 or 4 months later after that, she was like, "Okay, you're ready, VP."
Oh,
So it was awesome. It was really
I
great.
love that.
But
I
like a
love
lot
that.
of
That's
things
a
had to
great
fall into
story.
place for that, right? So everything that had to fall into place, not only did you have to say, hey, I need help. I think I'm ready for this. Then she had to offer to help you to get to something like that. She had to be
Mhm.
honest with you about any shortcomings she felt you had. You had to be open enough to take the help, right? To
Mhm.
take that
Yep.
radical candor that she gave you and go, I'm going to work on that. And then you had to be willing to come back to the table and say, all right, I'm ready now. And she had to be willing to say, yes, you are, and look at it from that perspective. So many things fell into place there. But really, what I hear is that you had someone who desperately wanted to continue to move up and grow, saying they wanted that. And you had a leader in front of you that said, yes, I want to help you grow. And that's really exciting.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because think about how many times in that situation. I mean, I just did some coaching yesterday with a woman that I used to work with, and she's been passed up for a promotion. And we had a long talk about it, and she's deciding whether she's going to stay with the company or whether she's going to move on. And I said, well, first take a look at yourself. Like, what do you want to be doing? Do you really want that job? Or is it that you just want to be promoted? Do you want to do something different? Like, what is it that you want to achieve? And if it's you want that job, that title, that company, then find the people that are going to help you get it.
Yeah.
I have actually been in those shoes on two different occasions in two different companies where I was passed up for a promotion and it hurt
Mhm.
because I had put in all the blood, sweat, and tears without a lot of coaching. Um, and to be passed up, one company I stuck around for a little while, one company I decided to depart. Um, and you know what? I think everything is a blessing in disguise. And maybe this is a message for the person that you were working with yesterday, Tammy, because I winded up in a much better position after that with a phenomenal boss that is so supportive and so encouraging, that it just makes me want to work really hard every single day. So I think that, like, you know what? Maybe I wasn't ready and I thought I was, but they didn't have the guts to tell me you're not ready yet. And
Right.
maybe they didn't have the time to put in to coach me up. But I think I landed in a better position anyways. So
That's awesome. It's always easier to
yeah.
think everything happens for a reason after the reason's been given, right? Uh,
I
I
True.
was
struggle with
cussing
that
people
too.
out before. I was mad as
Oh,
hell.
well,
Yeah.
Shara, so
No, I
when
get that.
you
I was on the receiving end of one of those calls.
Share when you think about networking. So one of the things I've talked to a lot of women, and they say to me, when I go to these conferences, like it's hard to meet people. And I will tell you, the last time I was at one of your conferences, I came in and I sat at this table, and I'm the type of person that wants to talk to everyone. Everybody's my friend. And before I knew it, my whole table was all women. And it's because they were all very nervous about going and
Mm.
engaging with other people. But of course, I was like, come sit at my table.
Right.
And so, what do you give for tips to women or anyone really on how best to network at these events and not to walk in with the anxiety that some of us do?
Yeah, alcohol. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the
Breaks
No,
down
slogan.
all barriers.
exactly. No, so I'm obviously very extroverted and my boss calls me the director of fun. Like I want everybody to have fun. Even in my friend group at home, I don't want anybody to be left out. So there are some people who are like, "Well, I only want it to be this person." And I'm like, "No, everybody gets to come." So at my
Mm.
events, I'm like after our reception, I'll be like, Where can I take 50 people?" And I'm like, let's go, let's go. So, I mean, you can always look for those people. They're the loud people. So to me, it just comes naturally, which I know is not a very good answer for people who it doesn't come naturally to. But I guess it's like, why are you there? I mean, that's why
Mhm.
you're there.
Mhm.
So it is that your job. So maybe it's one of those things like I hate spreadsheets, I hate math, I hate doing the budgets, but I have to do it because that's part of my job. And so maybe that is for an introvert person, like that's their spreadsheets. Like you have to do it, or especially in
Mhm.
this industry. I mean, like networking is everything. You're not going to get
Sure.
your next position or your next spot on a panel or working with the next brand or the vendor unless you know someone. I mean, we all see
Mhm.
these jobs on LinkedIn every day, and there's 500 people applying for them. Let's be honest, nobody's getting those jobs cold turkey. They're getting their next
Mm-mm.
position because of someone they met, probably at a conference or another work event. So you got to do it.
Well, I'll give you some. I'll share some advice with the audience here because I do a lot of coaching in this area on the networking. I had a friend who reached out to me, Sergio. He was at Bojangles at the time.
Oh, I
Hopefully
love
he's
him.
listening. Yeah, he's great. We have
He's great.
we know a lot of people here in the industry.
Yep.
He reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got someone on my team that's going to this conference. Her name is Shayla, and he's like, she doesn't really know anybody. Would you mind, meeting up with her and kind of showing her the ropes?" So we had a
Mhm.
text exchange beforehand, and then on site met up with her, and basically just everywhere that I went, I was like, "Do you want to come? Do you want to come? Do you want to come?"
Yep.
So that she could meet people and get that real full networking experience. And obviously then we got to know each other. And she had shared that, just getting to know her personally, that she thought she might be getting engaged soon. And so when she ultimately got engaged, I'd introduced her to a bunch of our industry gal pals, and she sent us a lovely picture of that. And we got to hang
Aw.
out again at the next conference, and then she's introducing me to people. And so it really is a domino effect. So my advice would be, if you're going to a conference and you don't know anybody and you're having anxiety, find somebody in your company or someone that you trust and know, have them look at the attendee list or the speakers and just make that introduction
Yep.
in advance. So then
A
when you
great
get there,
idea.
you don't feel as alone. You've got a buddy, you've got someone to sit with, someone that, so you don't have to be alone.
Well,
Love
and that,
that.
and
Totally agree.
Tammy, what you just said is be a good human too, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
take someone
Yeah.
under your wing if they're new and introduce them, especially if they don't know anyone. And then it turns out it just creates a ripple effect. And I
Yeah, it's
love that.
something that
And
we learned. My kid is a freshman, and the first day of school, I said, I don't care if you get all A's, but I want you to be the kid who's talking to the kid who doesn't have any friends. It carries over. That's a skill that we all should be doing every
Yeah.
day now.
completely agree. Which you just brought up kids. All right. So you said you had two
Uh-oh.
boys, which is
Yes.
awesome. But that also means you've been a working mom for a long time.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
just posted on social media the other day saying, I'm going to have to quit my job in order to focus on laundry full time
I saw it.
because there's too much. So, how did you do it? Like, what did you do that made it easy to manage, especially when they were young and growing up?
Yeah, so I'm lucky in that I've worked from home for the lot, which is good and bad. And I'm lucky that when my son, I have a stepson and a son, but when my son was a baby, my mom lived close by, so she helped babysit a lot. But it's just setting kind of boundaries. And when I say I'm terrible at setting boundaries, but like that whole work from home thing, yes, I can go to like the preschool thing at 10 o'clock, and then
Mm.
I'm checking emails at 8 o'clock p.m.
Mm-hmm.
But that was worth it to me, having that flexibility and that trade-off. So as a parent, I can't imagine going into an office every day. Like, I think I started this job when my son was like 6 months old. And I say it all the time. I could make more money at other places probably, but I will not give up this flexibility until the boys are done. Like, my
Yeah.
stepson's a senior and my little one's a freshman. So, you know, that to me is to everything. And not everybody can work from home. So I get that. And, when there are employers that like want people in the office, I get that. That's very important as well for some positions. But I just know myself, and I'm work from home. I can throw that load of laundry in while I'm, waiting for a conference call to start, or I can run and teach that yoga class. And so I can have my mental health
Mm-hmm.
okay when everything gets stressful. But again, it's asking for help. My mom was there to watch Lincoln when I had meetings and things like that. So, I
That's
was lucky.
awesome.
And I know not all women have that. Not all parents have that. So,
Well, and I think to your earlier point, asking for help, right? So you had support, but as women, I think we feel like we have to do it all. And that whether you
mhm.
have kids or not, but you think you
Yeah.
have to do it all, you have to do everything great, and it's taught to us through societal
Mhm.
standards. And so, going back to your earlier point, which is ask for help, you had your mom. You could call and say, "Hey, I need a little bit of help," or you had someone surrounding you, or the ability to have that flexibility and work from home. And I think you're going back to that point and saying that is still really important, no matter what's going on in your life.
Right. And I think having a strong group of girlfriends has really, really helped me. I have a support group. We call ourselves the yoga bitches because we met at yoga, and
But is there
that's what our
champagne?
name is.
Hold on, we're friends online. Is this the group that you like drink beer and do yoga with?
Yeah, so I
Uh,
teach beer yoga and I teach wine yoga, so once a month. So we literally hold
Count
the
me
cocktail.
in.
Yes.
You did.
Count
So
me
it's
in.
really fun.
I might
But
like
I've
yoga
been
now if there's
so
alcohol involved.
yeah, so fun. But we've been doing it for like 8 years, and we're like there's a core of us that are best friends. And, one of them might be like, can you pick up my kid today from school? Because I've got an appointment, and we go back and forth and we help each other. So yeah, sometimes I take the kids to football practice, and sometimes my friend Brandy will pick them up or whatever. So it's not always just banking all your favors with like your mom. Like I can't ask my mom all the time. So it's nice having that core group. And then you know how it is. You can complain to your girlfriends about things that you can't complain to other people about. They get it.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the ability to that carpool. We don't talk enough about how as kids get older, it's no longer like the at home stressors. It's now everybody has 700 things they want to do, and you have to
I
drive
feel
them
like
there.
all I do is I'm a chauffeur because my son is almost 15, so he can't drive yet, but
Mhm.
he's in sports, he's in guitar, he has a
Mhm.
girlfriend who he's obsessed with, and I have to like bring her back and forth all the time. And I'm like, God, I don't want you to grow up so soon, but get your license, please.
You know what's crazy? I don't think kids nowadays care about driving.
Yeah, well,
And
this
I
Some
kid
of
think
is
them
because
don't.
I think it's because their parents take
do
them
everything for them.
everywhere.
But I'm not. I
Yeah.
told Lincoln gets his permit on December 22nd, and he's getting it on December 22nd, and then he will be my chauffeur
Yeah. Come on,
until he
Lincoln,
turns
You
let's
sound like
16.
go. Right?
And then
yeah.
he will get his license the day he can because I cannot keep doing this.
Which is
You sound like me.
understandable.
All of my kids got their permit when they on the day, and they got their driver's license on the day
Mhm.
because I was tired of volleyball, basketball, soccer, friends, spend the
Yep.
nights. I was tired, but then that brings on a whole nother set of problems, right?
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
old. Like
You're
this
not.
weekend, my daughter went to the Clemson game, and it's like 11:30, and I'm like taping my eyelids open trying to stay awake for this kid to get home. I couldn't make it.
I
And
know.
I woke up, and Paul's like, Belle came home at midnight last night. I'm like, sister, we're too old for this. You got to start
You're
going
like,
to
let's
bed
pretend it
early.
was 11:30 and not talk about it.
Even then, like
Yes.
my
Time
son who
change this weekend. Just saying.
What?
what'd you say?
Time
What?
change. So wasn't it really like 11?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a time
time
change.
change. So it was earlier. And my son comes in
Whatever.
at what is like
I can just
7:30.
imagine Tammy negotiating as a teenager with
Yeah.
her
Right?
parents.
What?
Time
No.
That
change,
doesn't
mom.
even go in effect until like 2 a.m. That's when it goes back,
Which
not
also
11. Come
should
on.
legally allow the bars in California to stay open another hour, but it does not.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's sad.
Mm-mm.
It should.
All right, we have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
And we're going to Chrissy and I are gonna take this away and we're jump in, Tammy, if you have any that inquiring minds want to know. But first and foremost, what's your favorite food?
Cheese.
That's a
Chrissy,
food
rapid
group.
fire means you have to go
cheese.
fast.
Melted cheese. Any kind of melted cheese.
Oh, what's your guilty pleasure?
Yeah, chips and queso.
Where are you gonna retire?
I want to retire in Charleston. I think it's pretty
Oh,
there.
lovely. Come on to South
Yeah.
Carolina. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Last time you're embarrassed.
Oh my God, every day. Probably yesterday when my son and his girlfriend were making fun of me because I said something that was so cringy, and they're always
cringy.
calling me
gosh.
old.
Favorite
Oh,
conference?
that's so funny.
Favorite what?
Favorite conference?
Oh, Fast Casual Executive Summit.
Ooh, favorite restaurant brand.
Ooh, that is so
Ooh.
hard. I have to be an objective journalist. I don't think I should answer that.
Oh,
Oh, she plead the
Ah.
fifth.
Deflect.
If you're
Yes,
going back in
exactly.
history, who are you gonna have dinner with historically?
Mm.
Who do you want to make
I would-
out with?
Tammy.
Well, history. No, history would probably be like some of the witches that were burned at the stake before they got burned. I'd love to talk to some of those ladies.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, amazing. And who do I want to make out with? Thor, for sure.
I mean, to be fair, don't we all? Right?
If we're
Yeah.
going to look in history, I'm
He is
gonna-
smoking hot. He
Yes.
is smoking hot. Okay, one last question for rapid fire. When in Vegas, favorite place to dine?
Oh man,
'Cause
I don't
we're going to
even.
Vegas.
I don't go anywhere. I don't go anywhere like fancy in Vegas because I'm just at the shows and it's just eating buffets and drinking excessively. So I can't even think of one name of a restaurant. Like whatever is there in the hotel at 3 o'clock in the morning after I've been on a bender.
She can't think of the restaurant because she's been drinking. So who knows what it was called?
Exactly.
No, we love having you as a guest, Cherryh. And I think one of our final questions would be if you could tell your future self something that you would change today about yourself, change about the people around you, but your future self, if you could look back in time to right now, what's that thing? What's the thing you want to leave yourself with?
Probably don't be so obsessed with stupid stuff like, weight and the way you look and things like that, because I am a person, like, it is something that I am always like, oh, I got to get into the gym. I got to get into the gym because I just ate all this food. So I definitely spend too much time thinking about that, and I know that about myself. So it's something I'm always working on. So I'm
And
just
we're in the
being really
restaurant
honest with you
industry.
guys.
Are
Yeah.
you one of those people that works out at conferences?
Yeah,
Ew.
well,
I
so
find
I
you so
used
weird.
yes. So I used to not miss a workout. Like I would get, even if I had to get up at like at 4:30 in the morning and then be on stage by 7. As I've gotten older, I'm getting less dedicated about it. So like if I'm there 5 days, I try to get 2 or 3. But I would kill myself trying to make sure I would get an hour of cardio in or lifting weights before a whole day. And at 44, I can't do that anymore. So
Same.
That's okay.
I feel
Chrissy
you
did
there.
squats the other day on like a Monday, and on Friday I was like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I did squats on Monday."
Yeah.
I
You
was
got me?
like, "That's been 5 days. Why are we still in pain?"
I
it takes
was
a lot longer to recover.
sore.
Those are
Yes,
some
it
good squats.
does.
Yes, I've been doing
Yeah.
Pilates, and I had the same thing. I had a woman really give me some squat hell, and like a week later, I was like, I'm still sore. I can't wait to go back.
There's a
Um,
couple of movements that just make me so incredibly sore, and like heavy squats is one of them, and they just
Yeah.
wreck. And then you sit on an airplane for 5 hours flying
Ugh.
across the country. That doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was sore like 4 days later still.
and
Yeah, why do you think
I
I'm doing
bring my
Hawaiian
workout
yoga?
clothes every conference. Every conference, my workout clothes are in my bag. They usually just come right back home and go back in the drawer.
Yeah. Maybe we should help each other and like make sure like set a time where we go on a walk one of the times instead of staying out till
Love
2
that.
o'clock in the
Can we
morning.
Oh,
do it
that's
with
fun.
I love
champagne
that.
though?
No,
Yeah,
sounds
we could
great.
do it with champagne. We
Yeah.
could have
See?
mimosas. We could walk and do breakfast.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that idea.
Yeah, I think
I
that'd
used
be
to have
fun.
when I was in the payments industry, I used to have a guy that I worked with, and we traveled. And every morning before the show, we would get up, we'd do like a 4 or 5 mile walk, and
Yep.
it would kick our day off, right?
You feel
And then
so
you
much
don't feel so
better.
bad.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, Erin, are you with me?
you
It
Oh,
sounds terrible.
Tammy.
it is
Yeah.
in the moment it is terrible. I'm not gonna lie. In the moment it's terrible, but when you're done, you just feel like so energized and clear-headed, I think. So
Yeah.
I'd miss my dedication of getting up that, but I have to have my sleep now too.
Me
Well, and
too.
sometimes I
Yes.
clear my head at home by walking to the mailbox, and then I walk back and I feel refreshed. I
You clear
feel
your head with all the dancing,
that
Erin.
is
So
true. I
that's
do
your
dance, but then
yeah.
it doesn't feel like a workout. Although I tell my dance
But it
partner, like,
is.
hold on, let me turn on my Apple Watch because if we don't track it, it doesn't count, and we have
It
to
doesn't
start
count.
That's
over.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Um, and then,
Exactly.
like when I'm done with dance, and like if we're doing something slow, I was like, it didn't pick it up. Can we do this faster? I need it to count it. It needs to count. So
That's what happens when you have like type A personality. I even have to win at exercise. I have to win at sleep. I have to win at exercise. Like it's ridiculous. We have to win at everything.
I
Mhm.
don't. I don't have to win.
Absolutely.
Unless,
Tammy's like, I don't.
no, I enjoy the game. Unless I don't like you, then I want to win. And I like everyone until they
Hmm.
give me a reason not to. So
There you
I
go.
become very competitive in that same state of
Mhm.
mind.
I
Yeah.
Same
think
state.
that's what
Yes.
allowed us to grow in our careers, all four of us, is
Yeah.
because we are a little bit competitive. We're that little bit of type A. We know what we want and we go after it, because being a woman in our space isn't the easiest thing you can possibly be, right? Like if
That's
someone
true.
said, do you want to be the underdog in just about everything you do? I'm like, yeah, sure, choose me. But
Sign me up.
we're all have that spirit, and that's allowed us to continue to grow in our careers. So I can't thank you enough, Cherryh, for being one of our first guests. One of our
I'm honored.
yes,
It's been so fun.
absolutely
thank
So
amazing.
you.
exciting.
You have any recommendations for us at who we should try to get on the show next? Like,
Mm,
I think we should do this as a feature, like tag someone,
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
let's see.
So
We
we
should
tag
tag
them and like
someone.
call them out and let's get them on the show. Our goal is to put some ladies on the show that really don't otherwise get that sort of exposure. And
Mhm.
while you are a journalist, you're usually talking about other people. So we thought it would be great to have you on.
Yeah.
We want
You should
operators.
get Susie with Banchan.
Okay,
Ooh.
well,
She's super cool.
Susie from
let-
Banchan, did you hear that? You need to be
Mhm.
on our
Yes,
podcast.
Susie
We'd love
from
to have you.
Banchan.
okay, I'm writing
I'll
it
make
down.
an email intro.
I would
Yeah,
love
That'd be
that.
fantastic.
Um,
Yeah.
And if there's anyone else you think of, or if anyone that's listening is like, that's somewhere I want to go, because Cherryh did such a great job talking about how not enough women are raising their hand.
Right.
Right.
Raise your
So,
hand.
on that note, we don't have a website yet. We are just getting this off the ground for the audience. And you can email us if you'd like. And our email is Byte-Sized and Bossy, and that's BYTE. And guys, is there a hyphen in that? How do
So
we spell
it's
it?
booking Bite-Sized and Bossy, no hyphen, at Gmail. And we'll have that on the page where you'll be listening to all the podcasts. There's also a Bite-Sized and Bossy LinkedIn page as well.
That's right. So, reach out to us.
Awesome.
So
Thanks
great.
so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
It
much.
was awesome to see you.
You too. Thanks, ladies. See you next time.
Mhm. Bye-bye.
Bite-sized and bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing. Women paving paths, look at them going.